Hello everyone, and welcome back to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. Before we dive in, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on notifications so you never miss our long-form breakdowns of the stories everyone is debating. Today we're unpacking a delicate, much-talked about timeline involving four names that instantly energize the comment sections: Kenyaman, Demet Özdemir, Marios, and Can's father. The headlines you've seen are loud, the facts on the ground are quieter. Our job is to trace the sequence, separate signal from speculation, and explain why a handful of posts and meetings have been read as a turning point in Kenyaman's personal life, without pretending we know more than the people living it. Let's start with the backdrop. Long before this week's chatter, Kenyaman had already secured his place as a globally recognized Turkish lead, riding the momentum of Erkenci Kus and Beyanlis. Those projects didn't just generate ratings, they exported a style. Buoyant charm paired with fast-footed chemistry that resonated far beyond Turkey. Add to that a carefully managed public image and cross-border projects, and you have an actor whose every caption and candid becomes a data point for millions of fans. Parallel to that, Demet Özdemir built a profile that pairs range with restraint. She can carry comedy and drama and still keep her private life walled off from the constant tug of speculation. When the two share space, whether in an old clip that resurfaces or at an event where cameras multiply, audiences rush to fill the gaps. That's the energy into which the current storyline arrived. Now to the catalyst. According to the most circulated account, a family-adjacent conversation nudged a new introduction into place. The version many fans repeat goes like this: Can's father encouraged a warmer, more open circle around his son, less rumor, more honest company. And in that spirit, Demet Özdemir facilitated an introduction involving Marios, a friend who had already been seen in proximity to the wider group. It wasn't a press conference. It wasn't a red carpet reveal. It was, by all descriptions, ordinary: a dinner, a small after-hours hang, a handful of people who've learned to value spaces where phones stay face down. What transformed an ordinary evening into a public narrative was what came after: social media traces. Demet Özdemir posted a set of photos, unremarkable at first glance, tagging Kenyaman and Marios in a carousel that felt like a simple thank you to friends. No declarations, no captions designed to set the internet on fire, no coded lyrics. But in a fandom trained to read tea leaves, the mere coexistence of names and faces became a Rorschach test. Within hours, threads appeared mapping the who, where, and when. A few accounts asserted more than they could possibly know. Many simply asked the same question in slightly different words: what exactly is the relationship at the center of these frames? From there the timeline speeds up. A handful of outlets framed the evening as a family-sanctioned step, leaning on the idea that Can's father had signaled comfort with a broader, clearer social circle. Some commenters treated that phrase, "father's permission," as a cultural shorthand, the way families sometimes anchor a change in someone's life by showing up, by meeting the people who now matter. Others found the wording overdramatic and pushed back, reminding everyone that discreet dinners do not equal announcements. Between those polls, a middle reading emerged: nothing explosive happened, but something subtle did, a decision to reduce the secrecy that makes people gossip, and to let friendships and collaborations be seen as they are instead of disguised by evasions. The next beat arrived not as a headline but as an algorithmic swell. Demet's photos were clipped and reposted across fan pages, especially the ones that monitor cross-border interest in Kenyaman. Italian and Spanish comment sections added another layer, because those audiences have followed Can's work closely and are quick to narrate any change in his social orbit as a potential pivot in his personal life. The speculation was not monolithic. Some viewers read romance into the frames. Others saw a more grounded picture: a close friendship that includes Marios, a family that prefers transparency to rumor, and a professional dyad, Can and Demet, that understands the value of setting the tone rather than letting tabloids do it for them. Here's where we need to slow down and hold a boundary. It is one thing to track what is posted publicly, it is another to state as fact what no one on record has confirmed. The claim that Demet Özdemir and Kenyaman are officially together has been made and unmade in cycles for years without definitive statements. The suggestion that Mario's is more than a friend to one or both has also been asserted by people far from the situation. Those are interpretations, not verifications. What we can responsibly say is that a small circle of people chose to be seen in the same space, and that choice challenged the internet's appetite for hidden narratives by offering a glimpse, no more, no less. If you look past the noise, the careful choreography becomes visible. For Kenyaman, there is strategic value in a life that is neither performed nor invisible. He has learned how to show just enough to keep the story honest and just little enough to keep it his. For Demet Özdemir, there is steady power in standing beside friends and colleagues without feeding the machine that turns proximity into proof. For Mario's, the pressure is different. Being named alongside famous people can alter your week in ways you never asked for. And for Can's father, the subtext is parental clarity. Meet the circle, lower the temperature, move the conversation from rumor to reality, even if reality is simply, we spend time together without explanation. Why, then, did this sequence feel like an escalation to so many? Partly because the internet rewards certainty, and partly because audiences have history with these names. We remember late-night interviews where glances lingered longer than the script required. We remember photo calls where a private joke made the public smile. We remember the on-screen rhythms that made Can and Demet a phenomenon in the first place. When people have loved a story, they keep looking for its sequel, and where the industry offers none, the fandom builds one out of context and imagination. That impulse is human. It also carries the constant risk of trespassing. Let's talk about the aftermath. As the carousel circulated, a pragmatic conversation rose alongside the speculation. What does this mean for the way Can and Demet will handle questions going forward? Will they now show up to events together when it suits them? Will publicists pre-negotiate interviews that steer away from personal labels? Will future press days include Mario's as part of a wider friend group, making the point that closeness does not require a headline? Each answer has trade-offs. Show up together, and you satisfy curiosity while inviting more. Keep the focus on work, and critics call it evasive. Share a little, and it risks being cut into 1,000 pieces and reassembled into something unrecognizable. Behind the scenes, there are practical reasons to keep steering toward restraint. Kenyaman's brand is international. Overexposure in the personal lane can undercut negotiations in the professional one. Demet Özdemir thrives on the freedom to choose projects without every casting read through the lens of a private life fans think they can name. For the family, including Can's father, unity is best maintained when private rhythms are not constantly rescored by public speculation. And for friends like Mario's, ordinary days remain possible only when the internet treats unfamiliar faces with the kind of caution it reserves for confirmed news. Still, the evening mattered, and here is a plausible reading that honors both curiosity and dignity. The people involved chose a small, real moment over a choreographed reveal. They allowed the existence of a trusted circle to be visible. They let the internet see enough to calm the appetite for scandal without fueling it, then went back to living the life they have to wake up to tomorrow. In that sense, the message embedded in the photos and the dinner is neither we're hiding nor we're announcing. It is we refuse to let rumor be the only author of this story. For the audience, there is an invitation in that stance. You can celebrate the people you admire without demanding plot points they have not offered. You can follow the work, new roles, new releases, new creative risks, and let the off-screen relationships find their shape in private. If a moment arrives when labels are shared, it will arrive in their voices. Until then, the healthiest posture is the one that has always kept fandoms vibrant and humane, curiosity tempered by respect. Now, to the questions I know you'll ask in the comments. Will we see Can, Demet, and Mario's in the same frame again? Almost certainly, because friendship doesn't vanish when speculation spikes. Will Can's father continue to be part of the visible circle? Likely, when presence can lower the temperature and steady the narrative. Does any of this confirm what some are insisting it confirms? No, and that is not a dodge. It is a reminder that lives are not press releases, and that a single evening can be meaningful without being definitional. As always, I want to hear from you, respectfully. What do you think was actually communicated by those posts? Did the presence of Kant's father change your reading of the moment? Do you prefer public figures to draw sharp lines or to offer occasional windows like this one? Drop your thoughts below. The smartest takes in this community are the ones that keep room for nuance. If you found this timeline helpful, subscribe to Turkish Spotlight Secrets, tap like, and consider joining for members-only deep dives where we map these cycles with even more context, production calendars, award season positioning, and how personal narratives intersect with career strategy. Thank you for watching, take good care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you in the next video.